The memory feels like a faded photograph, one I can't quite touch but whose colors still blaze within me. I'm Jennifer, or rather, I was Jennifer, a 37-year-old architect in Chicago. Before I share the journey that shattered and then remade me, the experience that took me to the precipice of death and back, I want you to understand the life I led. It was a life built on precise lines, sharp angles, and the sterile beauty of concrete and steel. My world revolved around blueprints, not people. My focus was on design, the aesthetic, the conceptual, not the impact my structures had on the lives they housed. My name, Jennifer, was often whispered in architectural circles, not for any great kindness or philanthropy, but for the sheer audacity of my designs. My skyscrapers pierced the Chicago skyline with the defiant glory of ambition. I thrived on recognition, on the oohs and ahs of critics. I designed buildings, not homes, structures, not sanctuaries. I sought to impress, not to serve, but I was deeply unsatisfied. A gnawing hollowness echoed within the gilded cage of my success. I had climbed the ladder, yet the view from the top felt cold and isolating. My life was a whirlwind of deadlines, client meetings, and award ceremonies. I had no time for quiet, no time for reflection, and certainly no time for matters of the spirit. I saw the world in shades of gray and steel, not the vibrant tapestry of human connection and divine love. The very idea of a spiritual dimension seemed, frankly, ridiculous. I was a woman of science, of logic, of what I could see, measure, and touch. And so, I existed, adrift on a sea of ambition, my heart a cold, hard stone. If you had asked me about purpose, I'd have spoken about my projects, not people. If you asked me about life, I'd have pointed to my portfolio. If you asked me about death, I would have brushed it away with a dismissive laugh, a distant, abstract thing to be considered later. Before I unveil the event that changed everything, I'd like to ask you to share in the comments the city and country where you are watching this. I'll read every single one. The connection between our souls might well be forged in a very similar way as was mine, across distance, across realities. And, who knows, maybe our sharing here will help us both understand more. The world I knew crumbled on a cold Tuesday morning. It was a day just like any other. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was scheduled for my latest masterpiece, a towering residential building on the city's edge. It was, in my opinion, my magnum opus. I stood there, filled with pride, as the first residents walked through its gleaming doors. Then, the unthinkable happened. The ground began to tremble. Screams filled the air. I felt a strange sense of disbelief as I witnessed my creation, the structure I had poured my life into, buckle, groan, and then, with the terrifying roar of destruction, collapse. The next few moments were a blur. I remember the searing pain, the suffocating dust, the terrifying knowledge that my body was trapped. Then, nothing. The world turned black. It wasn't the peaceful black of sleep. It was a vast, cold, empty void. I wasn't sure if I was still in my body or somewhere else. I only knew that the physical world had vanished. I could feel my lungs burning, and my vision went blurry. My body was becoming numb. I don't know what came first, the loss of consciousness or the out-of-body experience, but those two things changed my life forever. Then, a strange sensation. I was floating, rising above the wreckage, above my broken body. I watched as they pulled the concrete and debris away from my broken form. I saw the paramedics frantically working on me, the panic in their eyes, the beeping of medical equipment. They worked with the haste of people who knew what they were doing, but the cold clinical approach did not match the love that was all around me. It was as if my soul was observing my body, a detached witness to its earthly demise. I could still hear everything, although the sounds seemed to be muffled, and I was having trouble focusing on what people were saying, as if I was underwater. I drifted further, and the scene changed. I was in a place of pure light, a luminescence so profound it had no comparison to anything earthly. It wasn't like the artificial glow of city lights or the blazing sun, but something softer, more gentle, yet infinitely more powerful. It was the light of pure love, pure knowledge, pure being. And in that light, I felt a peace I'd never known, a completeness that filled every corner of my existence. Then I saw them, beings of light, radiant and majestic. They weren't human, not in the traditional sense. They were pure energy, pure consciousness, yet they held a love so vast it encompassed everything. They greeted me not with words, but with a silent understanding that resonated within the very core of my being. It felt like coming home, a recognition so profound it brought tears to my eyes, or what would have been my eyes if I had had them at that moment. I stood before them, or rather floated. They did not judge me for my ambition, for my ego, for my self-absorption. They knew me, knew the heart I had buried beneath the weight of achievement. And they offered me a different view, a glimpse of the reality that lay behind the facade of the physical world. It was revealed that all is connected, that every thought, every action, every intention ripples through the fabric of existence. The structures I had built were not just steel and concrete. They were an extension of my soul, reflections of my inner world. They showed me the lives of those who lived and worked within my structures, their dreams, their fears, their joys. I saw them not as faceless clients, but as fellow travelers on this earthly journey. They reminded me that every space we inhabit impacts our lives, and that architecture is not just about aesthetics. It's about creating a haven of safety, love, and growth. I realized that the purpose of architecture wasn't to make a statement, but to serve humanity, to honor the divine spark within every person. It wasn't about how it looked, but how it made people feel. And I understood, with a clarity that pierced my soul, that true architecture is an act of love. I was shown a tapestry of possibilities, the potential for every human life. I saw the incredible capacity for love, for healing, for creation, but also how easily those gifts are corrupted by fear, greed, and ignorance. It was not a judgment, but a gentle reminder, a loving challenge to use my gifts for the greater good. I also saw the interconnectedness of all living things, and that each one has an intrinsic value, no matter how small or insignificant it may appear. The entities, they made me realize that the physical world is a veil, a temporary stage for the soul's journey. We are not simply flesh and blood. We are eternal beings of light, temporarily inhabiting physical forms to learn and grow. Our true home is in this realm of boundless love, a place of pure consciousness where we are all connected as one. This wasn't a heaven of harps and clouds. It was a state of being, a realm where the only language was love. I understood then that love is not just an emotion, but the very essence of existence, the fabric of the universe. And this boundless love was what awaited us all at the end of our earthly journey. Yet, that love was also present in every breath, in every moment. The heavenly realm was not a faraway place, but a reality that exists alongside this one, and available to anyone who seeks it with an open heart. During this time, I also had a vision of what some would call hell, but I understood it to be something entirely different. I saw the shadows cast by a life lived without meaning, of intentions corrupted by selfishness, and I realized that hell was not a place to punish, but a state of being, a place of separation from love, from light, from connection. It was a self-imposed prison built from the fear, the greed, and the ignorance that separates us from our divine nature. And it was my choice, every single moment of every day, what kind of reality I was creating for myself. I was told that I wasn't ready to cross over, that my work on earth was not yet done. My mission wasn't simply to build. My mission was to touch lives, to be a vessel of love, and that the only way to create buildings that would nurture life is if the Creator Himself embodies that love. They gave me a choice, a chance to return, to integrate what I had learned, to live a life of purpose, to create with intention and with love. They told me that this entire experience was never meant for myself, but rather was given to me for the purpose of helping others and spreading the understanding of the real world, the spiritual world, the real one. The message was clear. True architecture must serve humanity with purpose and care. The design should protect and nurture. It should inspire and support people, not just be an extravagant display of steel and glass. My building should be a sanctuary where life flourishes, not monuments to vanity. With a final wave of light, they sent me back, and the next thing I knew, I was lying in a hospital bed, my body throbbing, my mind reeling. The doctor said I was clinically dead for approximately 6 minutes. The world around me was chaotic, but I felt strangely calm, filled with a newfound sense of peace and purpose. The sterile walls of the hospital seemed to fade as my soul embraced the experience I had just lived through. I was no longer the same Jennifer. The architect of steel and glass was gone, replaced by a woman whose heart had been open to the vastness of love. I was still an architect, but my priorities were now fundamentally transformed. The world looks different now. I see people, truly see them, not just as clients or occupants, but as individual souls with unique stories, each one on their own spiritual journey. The buildings I design now are more than just structures. They are havens of safety, spaces of healing, places where people connect and communities grow. I've learned to integrate the physical and spiritual, to recognize that every choice I make has a profound impact. I now incorporate natural elements into my designs, mindful that the purpose is to help people connect to nature and with the divine. I seek to create buildings that help people heal, and that makes them feel at peace. I've learned that my true purpose isn't to leave my mark on the world, but to make a positive difference in the lives of others, to be a vessel of light and love as the beings I encountered during my journey. The change hasn't been without its challenges. My colleagues often raise an eyebrow at my new direction. Some still focus on design only, but I know my purpose now. My focus is on the human aspect. It is on creating environments that uplift the human spirit. This story isn't just about me. It's about the profound transformation that's available to each and every one of us. It's about opening our hearts to the love that permeates everything, even the darkest of shadows. It's about understanding that we are all interconnected, that we are all children of the same divine light. The choices we make in every moment of our lives, they all add up, and what we choose determines what kind of reality we will be living in. As you reflect on my experience, I urge you to look at your own life with new eyes, to ask yourselves, what is my true purpose? What impact am I having on others? Am I creating a life of love, connection, and purpose? The world is so much more than what we see. There's a spiritual dimension that is always present, waiting for us to tap into its infinite love, its boundless wisdom, and its perfect harmony. All you have to do is look, listen, and open your heart. And the divine will be there, I promise. The life I was so proud of had crumbled before me. The life I lead now is an ever-growing beacon of hope for myself and for the people I touch. I have no doubt it's the best choice I could have ever made. And I encourage you to search your soul and find your own beacon of hope.